Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. And today we're playing some Skyrim. And, alright, before you start, let me explain. This is not Skyrim VR, alright? This is regular old Skyrim. Skyrim VR is awesome. I have been playing that as well. Alright, it is very cool. I've had some incredible moments in Skyrim VR this week. Do not get me wrong. But, you guys know that I am a fiend for modding. Love modding. I just like the whole process. It's just, for some reason, very interesting to me. And to a lot of other people as well. Plenty of people talk about how much they mod, and it's just an entertaining thing. Because there's just so many mods out there. And so I stumbled upon, while I was just browsing the internet, I stumbled upon this thing called Ultimate Skyrim. And Ultimate Skyrim is pretty much, it's sort of a mod guide, plus it's also its own mod that sort of tweaks a bunch of things. But the mod guide itself is based around Skyrim Requiem. Requiem is a complete sort of overhaul of the gameplay of Skyrim to make it much more challenging, I guess. Pretty much in Requiem, at level 1, like, you can pretty easily die to, like, a mud crab. Like, you can get your shit pushed in so many different ways. It's astounding. And so you really have to be strategic. You know, like every encounter you get into is something really to be taken seriously. The world is just a terrifying place, and you really have to slowly build yourself up. And yeah, for some reason, this just really appeals to me. And so I've been having a blast with this whole Ultimate Skyrim thing. Like, I've been playing it quite a bit. You know, I've been playing Skyrim VR as well, because it's different. Skyrim VR, it really shows you how easy, like, regular Skyrim is. So I haven't had too much challenge in Skyrim VR, although there are some tricky bits. And Skyrim VR is just, like, really just experiencing the world and just being like it's less of like playing a game and more like going on a trip, you know. And so that's fantastic for different reasons. This just is, from a pure gameplay standpoint, very entertaining to me as well. So the mod guide for Ultimate Skyrim is a little dated at this point. And it's not perfect as far as the mod choices. I think the game could look better. I think there are it's just sort of, maybe it's subjective. I just have personal preference for other, like, grass mods, lighting mods, you know, things like that. But the mod guide seems fairly strict as to how he organizes and runs it. So I just followed it, you know, line by line. And it looks pretty good. And it's more about the gameplay, although there are some gameplay tweaks that I would prefer to have as well. But there's a new version coming out that incorporates the new version of Requiem as well. And it seems to be very exciting, so yeah, who knew, man? Skyrim. Pretty entertaining shit. Never thought I would really say that, but there you go. So most of my time spent with this character has just been like murdering people in Riverwood and stealing all their shit. Like, I didn't go into Bleakfall Barrows until like level 7. And even then, I got to the Draugr, and I was like, nah, I gotta back out. This is insane. Anyways, Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about, so I don't forget, is I didn't realize this, because I don't pay attention to Twitch at all. Like, I really don't watch it at all, ever. Just because I'm a video-oriented person. And so I didn't realize this, but Twitch does video uploads. Like, you can just upload videos to Twitch. And that's it. Like, you don't even have to stream. Oh, it just crashed completely. It actually does not crash often, so that's pretty surprising. Although that tends to be right at the point where it crashes, when you're looking out over Whiterun. So I didn't realize it, but yeah, they just do video uploads. Because, Epic Neighbor started uploading these, like, Persona 5 videos. And in the description, he was like, yeah, this was originally just a Twitch upload series. And I was like, what? How does it, what? So yeah, you can upload videos on Twitch. And I logged into, like, my old Mangg's LP's Twitch account. And yeah, you just drag and drop a video on there and you just upload it. And it's pretty much the same. It used to apparently have this sort of premiere feature where you had to premiere the video on your channel and it would actually, like, stream the video and people could chat alongside it and stuff. But apparently this was a very reviled feature, so now you don't even have to do that. So it's literally just a video upload service, from the looks of it. The reason I bring this up is because I'm not a huge fan of YouTube. And really, no one should be a big fan of YouTube. I mean, what they've done, what they've built is obviously very impressive. And yes, I make a living off of YouTube, and so I'm glad that I have the opportunity to do that because of Google and YouTube. But competition is very important. And so if, you know, Twitch starts getting into the whole video upload thing, and they can provide, you know, really just strong competition for YouTube and force both to continually, you know, keep their shit in line. I think that's good. I think that's good. So this is not for, I'm not discussing this for, like, the Exploring series, because it's just, I don't think I could, it wouldn't be viable financially for the Exploring series, but for Mangg's LPs, just for my hobby, I questioned it. I questioned if I should just start uploading Mangg's LPs over to Twitch instead. And I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on it. God, why is it crashing constantly right there? It's gotta be a winter. It's really obnoxious. I need to go to Winter Run. That's not even like, is like, not even like a it's just instant desktop. I've not had that much trouble until I started streaming, so that's good. So yeah, I'm conflicted about it because, like I said, on the one hand, competition between services is generally a good thing, and I don't want to just I don't want YouTube to be the end-all, be-all. And my little Mangg's LPs thing, that doesn't mean anything. You know, I don't get any views whatsoever for it to mean anything. Even the Exploring series, I wouldn't be able to make, like, a point if I left YouTube or anything like that. It's just, I don't have that kind of influence. But, just, I don't know. From a personal standpoint, I wouldn't mind diversifying. But on the other hand, I have to consider the the small following that I do have on Mangg's LPs on this channel, which I greatly appreciate. I'm very glad to have it. And so I don't want to lose that. So if I just switch over to Twitch, I might lose, half of my viewers, which is not that many as it is. Now, potentially, I guess it's possible to gain some because of Twitch, but that seems really unlikely. And so, I don't know, it's sort of a pro and con thing. And the pro list, aside from the whole competition, diversifying type thing, for what I do, I guess it's not that massive of a list. I wouldn't mind gaining a few new viewers, but really it's not really the point anymore, I guess. I don't know. So I'd be curious to what some people think about Twitch uploads and stuff like that. I guess I'll rob these people blind. I mean, because it's also a thing of, like, I already have so many videos uploaded on this channel. So, like, having, like, Final Fantasies 1 through 7 on this channel, and then having, like, 8 through 15 on Twitch, I don't know. I don't know. I just I realized that this existed, and it just made me think.
Hello there, fellow traveler.
Take him out. Nice. And now you die. Because everything must die. Yeah. Give me your shit. Look at this. Look at this crossbow. Yeah, it's nice. Legal basics. Lawyering up. Hell. Breaking and entering. Why do you need to... My next big LP on Twitch. So, God of War. Yeah, I mean, I certainly can. It's... Like I said, the con thing was... I don't have that many people that watch me now. And so I don't want to lose... I don't want people to just be like... Or, not realize that I switched over to Twitch or whatever and just ignore the whole thing or who knows what. But, yeah, I guess I could do that. Just casting magic. Oh my god, he's gonna kick my ass. I'm bleeding out. I blacked out.
I am master of the art.
Yeah, I suppose that's something to try. I don't know how, like, I don't know how Twitch operates for, like, searching for videos or anything like that. What the fuck? Not everything always works perfectly in Skyrim. Yeah, I don't know how people find videos. I think it's just like you find somebody's channel and it's like, oh, look, they have videos. So I don't know if everything's sorted out the way that it needs to be, because they're primarily a streaming service. And it would probably encourage me to do a little bit more streaming from here and there. Yeah, I guess we can try it. Now remember, you must die. Thank you. Well, I guess we'll see. Anyways. So this week on the Exploring series, I uploaded the Saga of the Volsungs, which it is what it is. Alright, pal. Get you some. Damn it, I missed. Hold on, don't move. Fuck. Without a crosshair, it's very, very difficult. How can I see where I'm aiming? He's holding it, like, off to the side. I don't think it's going anywhere. Okay, hold on. I gotta... Where was the, I don't remember where you turn off the crosshair. Adaptive cross... No, that's not it. Anyways, so yeah, Saga of the Volsungs is what it is. It was a fine video, I think. One of those videos where I know that I have to use too many proper nouns, and that always kind of sucks. Not much I can do it. That's already... Fuck. Yeah, I mean, the streaming aspect is very secondary for me. Just because I'm not a huge fan of streaming in general. I just don't have the attention span for it. It's like, you know, I literally have like 270 videos sitting on my hard drive waiting to be uploaded. So video uploads are my thing, and I know that's sort of a dying hobby. Just uploaded Let's Plays. Everybody just streams a game for like 6 hours. I have no idea where you turn this shit off. Alright, man. Why is this not hitting me? Are you God? That might have hit him. Hard to say. Fuck! Jesus. Well, he killed my horse. What an asshole. He purposefully targeted my horse. We'll give it a try, I guess. For one Let's Play, or a couple of Let's Plays, it won't be that big of a deal. I might just have to make like a... Yeah, I think that's broken. I might have to make a little video on this channel saying that like the God of War Let's Play will be on Twitch. And I guess I don't know exactly if it works the same way. Like if I stream like the first hour or so, hour and a half of God of War on Twitch, like normal, and then I upload the other parts on Twitch, can I like link those? Can I put it in like a playlist together? One is a stream, like, I don't know. I have no idea how it works. That's the problem. But I guess that's the experiment. Fuck, this dude is intense. Alright. Okay, so then I worked on the Ragnarok video this week, which pretty much wrote itself. It's the last video of a series. Generally, the last video of any series I do is like my knowledge is at the peak point. So and depending on the video, there's rehashing and like repeating of information. So the Ragnarok video is not going to be like highly enlightening for people that watch the entire series, but I geared it towards like a fresh viewer. It's just like, what's Ragnarok? I don't know. That was the target audience. But it's a decent little video. It's got some good art in there. Skeletons out in the wild? Yeah, these guys would wreck my shit. So the plan is... Okay, let me try and remember my plan. So there's the Ragnarok video. The fuck? Coming out tomorrow. Then this week, I'm gonna upload the video asking for questions. For the Q&A. I don't know when the Q&A will be uploaded. Whenever I get enough questions and feel comfortable with it. Then I'm also gonna upload, I guess... Fuck! I'm gonna upload the... Yeah, we're dead. Upload the poll. We're gonna be doing the polls next week. Normally I would probably milk it a little bit longer and do like the Q&A for a whole week and then the polls for a whole week, but no, I think we gotta move along. So the Q&A and polls will be sort of combined this week. Then next week I announce the poll winner, as well as I think I'm working on the Rohan video for Middle Earth, I believe. And then the following week, I think I'm working on a God of War video, if I am doing a God of War video. I have to play through the game and decide if it's actually worth doing a video on. Because it kind of depends. I don't know. If the video is literally just like, oh, he fights Tyr here, and here, let me tell you about Tyr. if that's the extent of the whole video, is just like summarizing these characters, I feel like there's gonna be dozens of those types of videos, and that doesn't really seem that interesting to me. Whereas if the game sort of goes into the mythology a little bit more, which I think it might, I think that's certainly possible, and they sort of like allude to different events and, you know, various mythological references, that might make for a much more interesting video if I can sort of explain those types of things. So we'll see. I really have no idea if I'm gonna play through, if I'm gonna do a video on it or not. But the game is getting very good reviews, so that I am definitely excited about. Ran away? Come on. You're my loyal steed. So if I do the video, that'll be the following week after the Rohan video. If not, we'll just jump into the next series. And so on, so on, and so on, and so on. But I did really enjoy doing the Norse mythology series. That was very enlightening. It gives me a lot of confidence too, because this was my first like actual real world mythology, and before I did it, I didn't know anything about it. Like pretty much what I knew about it came from Marvel. And so, you know, diving into it, reading the prose edda and reading all these different books about it, and yeah, it's very interesting stuff. So I'm glad that it won. Maybe you know, it's not the highest like viewer numbers of any series that I could do, but that's all right. Yeah, this week on this channel, of course, we have Far Cry 5. I believe that I've timed it out so that we'll finish Far Cry 5 right before I start God of War. Final Fantasy 7, of course, continues on. I think I missed a turn for Valkyrie. And yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. Like, the one a day, uploading one video a day, normally that's never a problem. Because normally, most of the time, I'm like, okay, I don't have a video for tonight, so I gotta record a video for tonight, right now. And so, a lot of the videos that you'll see, I record them that night. And I just render them and upload them. But I haven't recorded... I didn't record a single video this week. Nothing. Because Far Cry 5 I finished a while ago, and then the rest is just Final Fantasy. Like I said, I have 270 videos just sitting there. And so I've been playing this, I've been playing Skyrim VR, and I was like, oh, you know, it'd be kind of cool if I did some videos on this, Ultimate Skyrim. You know, start a fresh character, you know, live another life, alternate start, and just see how it goes. That would be sort of potentially an interesting little series. But it's like, when the hell am I ever gonna upload that? 2020, that's when I'm gonna upload it. I have the SWAT 4 series, like, that, who knows? it's just, well, that was a beautiful pop in. So, yeah, it's uh-oh. Oh, I'm gonna die very quickly here. Hold on. Like the whole Final Fantasy series was just a blast. Like that's one of my favorite things that I've ever done as far as making videos. God. Wow, that's insanely good. My God, he is immortal. Insane. So yeah, I mean, I love that. Like, yeah, that was just a blast to do. And if I had just sat there and played through the Final Fantasy games on my own, that would have been okay. But doing the commenting, that's why this is my hobby. Like, I really just enjoy that aspect of just. Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking to myself. But for whatever reason, that appeals to me and just makes it much more entertaining. That guy came to my rescue and got his ass handed to him. Elven Sword of Consuming. This is actually a really freak occurrence of an enemy that does not hit that hard, but for some reason has absurd amounts of health. Usually that's not how it works. I think yeah, I literally just died. Okay. So, you know, if my hard drive crashed or just exploded, if my hard drive exploded and I lost all the rest of the Final Fantasy videos, that would suck. But honestly, it wouldn't take away from the experience that I had of recording them all. It really wouldn't. And so, like, I keep telling my brother, who's, of course, a big Final Fantasy fan, I keep telling him, play through the whole series from start to finish. Yeah, it's a massive project. It is, but I don't know. That made me connect with the series in a way that I never have before, and I'm really glad I did it. I don't know what I was talking about that I went on that tangent. Oh, right, I don't have time to upload anything. Yeah, that's a problem. Cage. Okay. I guess maybe after God of War I have some flex time, but you know, some things are just like in the moment, you know? Like this whole Requiem thing, I might not be interested in it when I'm done with God of War. You know, I might have moved on to something else. You have anything to say? No. But eventually, hopefully, all 270 or whatever videos will be uploaded. I'm on hiatus from recording all that stuff. I stopped at Ultima 5. So, yeah, there's the rest of the Final Fantasies, all the Doom games, and then Ultimas 1 through 4, plus Akalabeth. Plus SWAT 4, whenever that comes around. There's 2 different versions of Final Fantasy VII. The first 2 or 3 videos, I think, are the PC Steam version. And then after that is the PS4 remaster. I don't remember the original PS1 version at all, because I never really played it, so I can't really comment on differences. But the PS4 version is definitely the go-to one for me, just because of the cheats, I guess, if you want to call them. Anyways, what else? What else was I saying? Right, so Friday night, went over to Ziggy's and we played a Cthulhu Mythos game, Fate of the Elder Gods, which is sort of a Euro-ish game, but with a Lovecraftian theme wrapped around it. So it's always interesting to see, you know, how different board game companies interpret or decide to implement the Cthulhu mythos. Some of the like great old one. Well, first of all, the game's called Fate of the Elder Gods. There's not a single Elder God in the game. And this really confused my friends. Like, they just could not, like, they were just convinced, like, oh, they're all Elder Gods. Like, they're all Eldritch Elder Gods. Like, I'm like, no, that's not the acceptable term used within the mythos. It just irks me.
Take a look.
Because if you're, like, just sitting there and you're talking to somebody about the Cthulhu mythos and things like that, and I use the term Elder God, there's, like, an accepted understanding of what that term is. And yeah, I mean, you can talk about Lovecraft's use of terms and how it's developed and things like that, but still, if I said Cthulhu's an Elder God, you'd be like, what? What are you talking about? No. So that was a little strange. They didn't really understand that, but okay.
Steal anything from my
and so yeah, they were really trying to wrap their heads around, like, outer gods and great old ones and elder gods, and I guess, yeah, to a layman it could be a little confusing. Obviously they never watched my video series. And then, like, for their choices for, like, the deities in the game, you know, they have Nyarlathotep, of course. They have Hastur. They have Cthulhu. No-brainer. But they had Azathoth as, like, a Kickstarter backer only, like, outer god, which is pretty surprising, because usually he's, like, front and center. Then they had, like, Bolkrug thrown in there, which was very interesting. And then, like, the base game, Ithaca and Bolkrug and stuff. Atlaknaka was in the base game.
See me at my forge if you need arms.
And, anyways, it was a pretty interesting game where basically you play as a cult, like, devoted to one of these deities, and you are trying to summon them. and investigators are actually like the opposition. Like investigators like gather in certain areas, and if they raid like your cult headquarters, like that can really fuck you over. So it's a very interesting twist on the general Cthulhu mythos theme. It was a fine game. My problem with board gaming nowadays is like that sort of fresh, like awe-inspiring zeal that you have when you first get into like modern board gaming. Well, for most people, and it's like, you know, all I knew was like Monopoly and Trouble and stuff, and Go Fish, and it's like, wow, you know, Arkham Horror and Battlestar Galactica, and you know, like, oh, Power Grid, and, you know, all these games. It's so crazy that these things exist. Like, that has sort of worn off for me, you know. I don't have that same zeal anymore, and so now what gets me excited about board games generally is like just the real social aspect of it. And this is why Euro games in general are just so blasé to me, because I take no appreciation of like the mechanisms and the puzzle aspects and how things work together to create sort of an engine and a machine. Like, I have no real interest in that. You know, the things I like about board games is just like lying to people and bullshitting them and just having, you know, just having a fun time rather than like, ooh, let me really think about what I want to do on my turn. I never think about what I want to do on my turn. I've just never been the type of person that really like ponders something. Even in school, like, I was always the first person to finish every test. I would just burn through that stuff. Like, I'm not pondering this. I'm not a ponderous person. That's the problem. That's my problem with Euro board games. I'm not ponderous enough. I like things to be very quick, you know. I mean, there are some, which is funny because there are video games that I enjoy that are turn-based. You know, tactical turn. I like XCOM and stuff like that. But even then, I really don't spend that much time like thinking about the situation and my turns and things like that. I like things to just go. I like to make quick decisions. I guess there is some sort of like dichotomy there of making quick decisions and liking turn-based games. But I don't know. It's just on a board game, I don't know. It's just a different level of. I don't know. It's just, I don't have the same appeal. So it's like, you know, I had a fine time playing Fate of the Elder Gods. It was fine. But it wasn't like a game that you come home and you're like, you keep thinking about it, like, man, what a really cool game. And, oh, I'd like to play it again and, oh, do this. Oh, and I shouldn't have done this. I would have liked to have done this. You know, and Twilight Imperium can provide that. I really like Twilight Imperium. But most of the time, I'm happy playing, you know, Cosmic Encounter or The Resistance or Codenames. Just, yeah, I don't know, more social stuff. So I really have not bought almost any board games this year so far. I don't plan on buying them. It really is just at Gen Con I'll buy some games just because I'm at Gen Con. A Fletcher. Anyways, during the game, though, this is the crazy part. This was some Fate of the Elder God shit. During the game, we're like halfway through or something like that.
Yes.
We're sitting there, you know, people are pondering about their turns and whatnot, and we're just sort of light chatting and blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, Thomas slumps down on the table. Like, his head, like, hits the table. And he just, like, stays there for a few seconds. And we just, like, look at one another. Like, I think we even said, like, hey, Thomas, you know, hold in there. You know, it's going to be all right. Like, because we thought he was, like, joking, like, somebody was taking too long in their turn or something like that, and it was just, or he thought it was boring. I don't know. But then he didn't move. He still stayed there, and we're like, And then suddenly he pops back up, and his, like, glasses are, like, askew on his face, and he looks very confused. And we're like, was that real? Like, what just happened? And apparently, he just blacked out. I guess, like, he hit his knee on the table, like, right before he blacked out. But that shouldn't cause a blackout in a normal human being. And so, we think maybe he was dehydrated. Although, it's not like he went the whole day without drinking. And he was drinking a beer, but I guess, I don't know, I guess that's not good enough. And apparently this has happened to him before in his life, on multiple occasions, where he just suddenly blacks out for a few seconds. And I'm like, that's not normal human behavior. That's not how the body and brain is designed. The only time I've ever blacked out was when I fell off a horse, and that was like, you know, trauma. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy. We told him, like, I told him, like, if he has a free coupon for an MRI or something, maybe take it up on that. So then, on the way home, I called my mom, and I was telling her about this situation. And I got very focused on telling her that I drove through a red light as a cop was trying to turn, trying to make a left turn. He had the green arrow. So I almost smashed into him. And so, you know, at first, as I'm driving through the red light, that's when I realized, and I'm just like, oh, man, that's fuck. Like, you feel bad enough, and then you see the car turn, you see, like, police written on the side, and it's like, oh, God. This isn't going to be good. But the guy was very civil, very polite about it. I mean, I'm wearing, like, a flash hat and wearing glasses. I told him I just came from playing board games, and I was talking to my mom. Like, it's hard to get more white and innocent than I possibly could be. And then he's like, do you have a CCW? And I'm like, no. And he's like, just asking. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Apparently, it's like a something concealed weapon. He was very concerned I was like drunk and high and my car was filled with shotguns or something. But I think I proved my innocence. So I got a citation for driving through a red light, obviously. But he didn't give me a citation. He said, I'm not giving it to you for inattentive driving, which I guess is good. Although if you drive through a red light and you don't get the inattentive driving, that sounds like you're just driving through a red light purposefully. But either way, I guess it's better. So that was that's one of those oh shit moments. That's nice. Yeah, so that was a pretty interesting night. Yesterday, we did an escape room. This was our second escape room. Really just recommended. Escape rooms are awesome. That's a good creation that we've brought about. This one was technically for my birthday. My 28th birthday is tomorrow. So we did an escape room for my B-Day. And we had to do it with two strangers, which doing anything with strangers is just no good. But, we did sort of this, basically it was like this, the plot of the escape room, because these, you know, they have plots. The plot of the escape room was this crazy, insane doctor has released a plague upon the world. Somehow. And his plan is that only he has the antidote. And so he's going to somehow use his access of the antidote or whatever to take over the world or something. I don't know. And so, in order to avert this, the CDC is sending in a few agents to break into his lab and try and create the antidote ourselves so that we have access. We're trying to synthesize the antidote in his lab or something. Which, yes, of course, in any world-threatening situation, of course, you would only send in the CDC agents. And it's funny because they're like, you know, you're not allowed to destroy anything. You know, in an escape room, it's all you're trying to figure out puzzles and stuff. And it's like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, literally, the world is infected with a deadly plague, and this megalomaniacal madman is trying to take over the planet. And we're worried about breaking one of his cabinet doors to get at his like lab notes. No, we can't bust it open. We have to figure out the combination. You know, you have to really suspend your disbelief, and it's all about just figuring out the puzzles and doing all that. And it's very fun. I think our first one, the scenario was a little bit better. It was just more. It felt more involved, and there was more like crazy. There were probably just better puzzles overall. But this one, it was a lot of fun. We still had a lot of fun. We didn't win. We failed. Pretty much because of me. So, the main crux of the escape room was figuring out, like, these numbers. For 6 different elements, we needed some numbers. And some of them were very easy. Like, the red element, the number that we needed was in a certain book. And they literally told you, like, the author, the name of the book, the page number. Like, that's very easy. Okay. Others were a little bit more complicated. There were, like, math equations, and we had to, like, there was a scale, and we had to, like, weigh certain things and add these numbers together. One of them, there was actually a computer in the room, which was really cool. And so first we had to, like, unlock the drawer to get the keyboard, and then we could log in. And then he had, like, a presentation on there, and the presentation, like, talked about halogens. But he didn't mention one of the halogens, and that was, like, the secret element or whatever. And so, like, I was the only one working on these elements. They were all doing, like, these other ancillary tasks that were also important, but I was working on all these elements. And so, of the 6, I figured out 3 on my own, which was pretty great. I felt good, because a lot of the times, especially if you have a large group in an escape room, you can feel worthless for a while. Like, you're literally just, like, standing there where everyone else is. Because it's like too many cooks spoil the stew kind of situation. You know, if someone's trying to figure out this math equation, yeah, you know, you can have 2 people sitting there working on it, but you can't have 6 people sitting there working. Like, it just, especially if there's, like, a small room, and it just doesn't work. So, it was very nice for me, because I was the only one working on these elements. I had the binder, and I was just working on all these things, and really no one else knew what the hell I was doing. But I felt smart. But the main problem, the big problem, was this one that talked about, it mentioned, like, when I was a child, I enjoyed puzzles. And so, because of my love of puzzles, I have hidden the blue element in a red book. And you will need special goggles to see it. And so I thought, we did eventually find these, like, red goggles. And so I thought that on one of the pages in one of the red books, there would be, like, some invisible ink or something like that. And so you would need these red goggles to see it. That was my thought. And so, yeah, I spent a lot of time at the bookshelf. And there was, like, 30 books in there. And, yeah, a few of them were red. And the one that I really focused on was this book about childhood development. Like, childhood psychology, and, like, the development of their spatial awareness, and their cognitive abilities and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is, you know, puzzles, childhood. This makes a lot of sense. This must be the book. And it wasn't like pure red, and there were books that were pure red. What the fuck? But it had red on the cover, and it talked about childhood and you know, cognitive development and stuff like that. I was like, all right, it's got to be in here. And so, yeah, I was like looking through a whole bunch of pages with these red goggles, and I was like, we must be missing a clue. And they were still working on other stuff, like unlocking other stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe they'll find, you know, some clue that talks about what page number or something like that. And as the time started to tick down, you know, they came over. This was like our last clue, and they were looking through books and stuff like that. And I was just like, I've spent so much time with these books, I can't believe it. And we failed. And what we were supposed to do was literally take the biggest, reddest book, which had nothing to do with puzzles or childhood or anything like that, and we were literally supposed to like shake it out. And in like jammed in one of the page between some of the pages, there was this little like card that had some like little imagery, colorblind imagery or whatever on it, and you use the red goggles and that gives you the number. And I didn't want to shake the books out because so many of these books, the bindings were like falling apart. Probably because other people spent so much time like shaking them out. But it didn't seem right to me to like really shake these old books out. Especially because they're very clear that you're not meant to be destructive in any way. That's not how it works. Oh, I got a witch! Nice. Very nice. Ooh. And a wicked dagger. So it just didn't seem right to me to further destroy these books. But that's exactly what we were supposed to do. And apparently, like, right at the start, one of the strangers spent some time shaking out a bunch of the books. This was way before we knew any clues about the books. But she just went there and she started shaking books. That was apparently her first instinct. That's my last instinct. But okay, so apparently the others thought that she already had shook out all the books, and she said there's nothing in there. And when she said that way early on, she's like, yeah, there's nothing in the bookshelf. And I shook out the books. I was like, there's no way you shook out all 30 of those books thoroughly. Bullshit. Bullshit. And clearly she didn't. She lied. Anyways, so I felt a little responsible, but overall it was a very fun time. I would very much like to do another one. No good is going to come from this. Anyways. You might have noticed we didn't do a Sprawl session this week. Ziggy just bailed like an hour beforehand, so there's not much we can do. We did have sort of a gaming night with the three of us. We started out playing Diablo 3, and we had some controller problems, but we played that for a little while. And then to try and fix the controller problems, I restarted the PS4, and I booted up Gang Beasts instead, which is a game that I bought for like my nieces and nephews when they were sleeping over one night. Just like here, like they apparently knew about it. Like, oh, Gang Beasts, that sounds good. They wanted to play it. So, you know, I bought it. I didn't play it. I didn't know anything about it. They played it. It's on my PS4. So I booted up. We played that for like an hour and a half. And we had a blast. We had way more fun than playing Diablo 3. Which I did not expect. But yeah, Diablo 3, I mean, it's a good game. But it definitely, early on, you know, when you're just on, like, Act 2 and stuff like that, definitely a little dull. Definitely a little dull. We were very much just going through the motions. And so playing something like Gang Beasts, which is just this sort of wacky, fighting-ish game, we had a lot of fun. And so I think for something like that, where we get together, like, maybe once a month to play some games, it's way better. Oh, yeah, I'm dead. Look at that range. Damn it. It's way better to just play some random, like, small game that, you know, you don't have to worry about, oh, let's get to, like, level 60 or whatever. Oh my god, I killed the hag. Wow. So I bought Overcooked for the next time we play. That game seems like a blast. I can't wait to play that. Just like this frantic cooking game with like, and I played through it a little bit by myself, which is not the same at all, I understand, but I got to like the 3rd level and you're on like a pirate ship and like the counters like move every once in a while, which obviously messes with your whole rhythm. Seems like a very entertaining game. So yeah, that was good. Okay, last thing I want to discuss is A Quiet Place. I saw A Quiet Place this week. I don't want to spoil anything. If you're a fan of... I mean, if you're a fan of horror movies at all, absolutely. You should have already seen it. If you're questionable about horror movies, I would say it's not... For one, there's no gore whatsoever, so there's no problem with that. I know some people have issues with gore. There's no gore at all. Jump scares, really almost nothing. Like, that is not a jump scare movie. So really, it is just... It's a very intense movie. Like, that is an edge of your seat sort of nail-biting kind of movie. Where... Because a lot of horror movies do not do this properly. The important thing is to create sort of an intense movie like that. First, you need to actually care about the characters. This is obviously something a lot of horror movies don't try. You need to care about the characters, and this movie, that's definitely like the forefront, is you caring about these characters and their survival. So that works. Secondly, you need to actually believe that these characters' lives are in danger. As in, they could die in the movie. Like, you know, their characters can die. They need to be mortal. They don't have plot armor. And this movie also sets that up. And so you care about these characters, and you believe that at any moment any one of them could die. And so that creates a very intense atmosphere. You know, you're constantly like worrying about what's going to happen. It's a great movie. I really recommend it. Yeah, one of the better horror movies in a while. I will say, though, that for me personally, I probably liked Annihilation a little bit more. And they're very different. But for me, I guess, like, Annihilation... Well, A Quiet Place is more consistently good. And, like, sort of edge of your seat from start to finish. You know, it's like, you know, the character development and all that, it's all very solid, very good from start to finish. But in Annihilation, the good parts are like next level shit of good. And so for that reason, like the good parts of Annihilation are so good that I just like, it's so great. But A Quiet Place also very brilliant. Like John Krasinski, this is not the movie that I would have ever expected to see him direct or, you know, act in or anything like that. This is not the Jim that I imagined, but I'm very glad that he did it. And apparently he's like working on something else now with like Mars and he has the same team from A Quiet Place working on it and stuff. So yeah, very exciting stuff. It was very entertaining. Yeah. All right, so check out Ragnarok tomorrow on Exploring Series, wrapping up Norse mythology. Make sure you guys vote in the polls for the next series. If you don't know what to vote on, pick Warcraft, because that's my personal choice. Until it happens, that's going to be my choice. We've got the rest of Far Cry 5 this week, just a couple more videos. Some more Final Fantasy 7. And then I guess we'll try God of War on Twitch, unless I notice something really strange with how Twitch operates. I guess that's the plan. But yeah, alright. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. And I'll see you fine folks next week.